On these books, the most important thing is always to have a cohesive storyline and also just a good storyline. Try to make it funny if you can, or try to make it impactful, or try to make it interesting. But most importantly, that it actually makes sense. And so try to have a theme that it's going to make sense. The second most important thing is to try to add quality to it. Sometimes we get so wrapped up in trying to add a bunch of different things that we forget to actually do a good job of coloring or do a good job of making it look nice. Like this book, Losing Simo, did a great job of adding nice quality. It's very clean, it's very bold, but where this falls short is they have a cohesive story. It's Losing Simo. It's a fish that's being chased by a shark, and then the fish gets caught by a fisherman, and now the shark is confused. Okay, it's cohesive, but also it's too short. It's just it's kind of funny, but it doesn't have enough to it. So make sure that you have enough. And then the third thing is try to make something unique about it. You can see that this person here used these two wheels, and they just put glue on either side of these wheels. So they'd put a little glue here and a little glue on that side, which allows this to slide up, allowing this car to look like it's getting a lift. They did not find that in the internet. They came up with that on their own. It's very unique, and so that's pretty interesting. They took the Chevy truck pickup bed, and then they glued on a pickup bed. You can see here that they folded this, and then it opens up here. So definitely double or bonus points for making it look interesting and doing something very unique. They've turned this into a convertible. That's really, really unique. And so I want to give them bonus points for that, but don't forget about the quality as well. And then here they are. They have two cars that can race, and you can decide which one's going to win and by doing the pull tab. That's interactive. That's really interesting, really cool, very outside the box thinking. I would have liked to see there maybe be a little bit more of a story about maybe this car being built, being modified, and then maybe winning the race, something of that sort. But overall, this student gets a good grade because they were so unique. It could have used more quality. It could have used more of a story, but it was cohesive and it was very, very unique. And then here we go. We got My Friends. This one has a full-on story, so they're going to get bonus points for having an actual story. They have these flappable here. It would have been nice to see maybe them use pen and ink instead of just pencil here. Don't underestimate just outlining all of your lines with pen and ink, and it instantly makes it look more professional. This student is using a lot of quality with gluing on their colored paper and doing foldables that have things that are even inside this envelope. They have these little books, this one says War and Peace. Open it up. They even have words. There was war, everyone died, then there was peace. And so that's very unique. It's funny. They have a great story. It actually makes sense. And then you can go along, and then at the very end, they have a pretty unique flappable here where it pulls out, and this poor guy, the line just got longer and longer on him. And here he is having to wait at this register. All right, so good work. You can see that there's a lot of quality on the cover. Here's another one about a duck, and it was clever because there's games inside of here, but try to add the story to it, like Melvin the Marshmallow. He actually has a storyline to it, and there's foldables and flappables, very high quality. They're using colored paper to be able to add the story to this and be able to add a lot of quality, very unique and just clean. Once again, they're using pen and ink to make their marshmallow, and it just instantly makes it look more professional over pencil. They're using some nice soft color pencil work here that's not, that makes it look really nice. That's not sloppy. So you can see here their marshmallows getting roasted, and here he is over this marshmallow. And so they actually have a character. That's gonna help a lot. Here's another little foldable. All they did was fold over a piece of paper, glue it down, and now he's there. Now, as far as the foldables go, it might just be a slice in the piece of paper, and it might just be another piece of paper that's stuck through that slice. that is going to show that this hand is bleeding. Okay, I had another student that asked me, they want a window scene and they want it to look like it's gone from day to night. This is where sometimes it gets hard and you have to get creative with trying to figure out how you're going to do this. So I said, well, if you've got your window and you have your sun scene, then we could put a night scene in front with a pull tab here, and then we even decided we could cut out a moon here, and that looks kind of interesting. And then as we pull this, now it turns into day. So how would I go about making this pull tab? Well, the easiest way is to have something to pull on, and then I just have this piece of paper here. The big important part is something to stop it. So you can see here that if I was to put glue here, it's not going to interfere with this paper sliding. But then if I put glue inside here, once this paper gets to this glue, it's going to stop because these little pull tabs here. So it's going to be able to pull forward, and then it's going to stop there when it gets here. So what I did was I didn't glue this, and I didn't glue this middle part because it's going to have to slide here. And then I just put my piece of paper there and line it up with my window, like so. And then I glued it directly to the back of my window. Now, when I turn the page, the yellow paper is keeping the purple paper in place. Now I have a new page that's yellow, so maybe I try to think about incorporating this yellow as the background color of my next page, because this will be page 2 and 3. And then when I slide this out, you can see that it's going to get stopped right there where those glue dots were, because it had those pull tabs there. And so here's my window. It's daytime, or it's nighttime. I pull it, and now it's nighttime, or daytime. Sorry, my brain's not one to work. Okay, and so that's an easy way of doing that. Okay, keep all of those things in mind. Try to think of unique ways of making things move by just adding a circle, putting a hole into it and gluing it down, and now these circles can move. Maybe little flappables, allows him to play tennis, whatever it is that you want to do. If you're stuck on the flappables, then just focus on the storyline and the quality. If you're stuck on the storyline, then maybe you need to work on doing something like a pull tab or unique in that way. And maybe if you're stuck on both of those, then maybe you just work on a lot of quality, trying to make a quality artwork. But in the day, we want all three, but you've got to have at least one or two. If you're just sitting there thinking about the story for 3 days, and I come around there and you've just sitting there staring at your table and you actually haven't thought of anything, then that's doing you no good. That's gonna be a 0. That means you're gonna have to come in for tutorials, be working on something, and then maybe that something will turn into it. I don't know, pick a subject like shark and start drawing a really nice shark, quality, start using colored paper, gluing it in, maybe trying to think of a way a shark's mouth can open and close or eat a fish, something of that sort. And then from there, try to think of a way to make that storyline unique. Maybe that shark eats this fish and it turns him into a unicorn, and he goes off into, flies off and makes a rainbow and tries to make buddies with leprechaun. I don't know. Whatever. Get crazy with it and try to think of a story. Maybe make it funny or interesting in some kind of way. If you can't think of anything, make it something that represents who you are, something that you're close to. Maybe you don't like the dress code, or maybe you don't like something that's going on here at school, or that you don't have a car, and maybe your parents have grounded you. Do that as your story. It's perfectly fine for it to not be make-believe. It can be just your true life as well. All right, be working on this. Don't just be sitting there. If you're just sitting there not getting anything done, just start drawing something. Just start working on something. If you have something, you can turn in even a duck. I mean, start making ducks. I know Kate has made 1,000 ducks already, so maybe she just does another duck artwork. Okay, y'all get to it. Before I even get started, I want to go over some X-Acto knife protocol. I want to make sure that you know if you're using an X-Acto knife, you need to have a piece of cardboard underneath it. Please, please, please do not cut onto my table. I don't want you to mess up my table, and it's going to make me very angry if you do. So make sure if you have the X-Acto knife that you have the cardboard underneath. If the X-Acto knife blade comes out, it has a little screwing thing. If you'll hold the kind of almost the end of it and the kind of the texturized part, screw on the other parts, and that'll loosen and tighten the X-Acto knife. So make sure that's nice and tight as well. All right, then you'll see here that I'm going to start using the glue bottle. When you're using the glue bottle, if it's not going to work, then screw it all the way down, try to peel everything off of it, and then open it up. If it works, great. If it doesn't, it may have some gunk on the inside of it. You might have to screw the lid all the way off and get the gunk out and then try again. All right, you can see that when you're needing to create something that's going to move, you can simply just glue down 2 parts and put it through a hole, and that'll allow something to move up and down or across it, however you want to do that. So think about that. Okay, let's talk about some more ways that you can make a pull tab or make something move. One last thing I didn't mention, if we're using the X-Acto knives and we're just gonna make a simple slice, even if you're making just one little slice, anytime you're working with the X-Acto knives, be careful with them and do not cut into my tables. Always have cardboard underneath. If I'm cutting out a sun, you've got to use the cardboard underneath the X-Acto knife. Make sure that you're not cutting into my table or into your own hand, right? Just start making something, and that'll be helpful.